All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I am joined with the one and only, folks, Vince Offer, SHAMWOW, the SHAMWOW guy, which, you know what, bro? I'm pretty honored to have you on because just the other day I saw something fly by on YouTube and I'm like, whoa, wait. SHAMWOW. And I went and looked at it again and I'm like, where did that guy go? What happened to that guy? You were so big. You were a big hit. Was it the late 90s or?
Yeah. I mean, late, it was late 2000s.
Was it? Okay.
2000s, and then the commercials came on, and
dude, you were everywhere. You were everywhere.
Yeah, the commercials are, and I got sidetracked with a movie. I had too much money. I didn't know what to do with it.
Let's get into it, folks. We're going to talk about this comeback story because he's coming back. He's got his own podcast coming. I'm going to be a big fan of it. I know already. I thought you were hilarious, dude. You're no holds barred. You're no holds barred like I am. Right. So let's talk about that. But first, folks, get your health with Nino, baby. You could probably do this commercial a lot better than I can.
No. I need to get warmed up again.
Have you ever wondered why skin might look leathery as we age? That's because our bodies slowly stop producing its most important nutrient for health. It's called collagen, folks. That's why tens of thousands are turning to this amazing substance to replenish this diminishing but vital protein. It uses the top 5 critically important types of collagen to support skin elasticity, hydration, and to drive back that youthful glow. Most importantly, you can save 53% for this month only, folks. Simply go to the link below, Health with Nino, baby. And man, I wish the SHAMWOW guy could chime in on this one.
Well, I mean, I think collagen. I've been taking collagen. I'm 59. I don't look that bad for 59.
Dude, you don't look bad at all. You don't look bad at all. Folks, go to the description box below. Good. Get to the description box and hit the Health with Nino. SHAMWOW, Vince, man. Dude, Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's the first podcast I've ever done. It's historical. I can get rid of this. I don't need this thing anymore. I got the mic.
Oh my gosh. So this is your first podcast right now?
Yeah, I mean, I did something with my friend at my house once and just like seeing what people, what's it called? The live feed thing. But I never did a real podcast. So this is my first podcast.
Wow.
It's kind of a big deal.
You've been kind of MIA for a while, man. And what's been going on with you? Like what's happened?
I got married and hunkered down a little bit, and then I kind of lost a little bit of the momentum. But I'm coming back. I'm trying to create a show, like a Shark Tank show, except they're not bickering. We won't be bickering about products. We'll like develop products from like beginning to end. Because when you watch the Shark Tank, they're like arguing, and they're trying to take 90% of the guys' investment and hard work, and so this is something I think might be interesting. So when we have a boxing product or a sports product, we can bring it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back in time a little bit. First, folks, I'm going to show you his new podcast that he's got going on now, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. Yeah, and here it is, right, folks. Can you see it, Vince?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Vince Offer. I help revolutionize how you watched TV commercials.
You're going to love my nuts. Watch this.
Now I'm going to do the same thing for the podcast industry with my new show called The SHAMWOW Guy Show. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is how I was canceled, probably because they played an Italian guy.
We eliminate the beef in the sauce for fetuses.
Or maybe the other scene where I played a black guy.
How dumb are you to be on this show?
It's all about taking risks, and it gives us the passes to do whatever the fuck we want. That's why you gotta subscribe and hit that notification button before it's too late.
Yeah, see it. Right, kill a KKK, so I got the pass. That's the joke.
You're all out. You're going all in. You're going all in on this.
Yeah. You don't mind if I take this headphones off?
Oh, go ahead. Go take it. Do whatever you want to do to make it, comfortable.
Feel confined and constrained.
So when are you starting this podcast? When are you going to start it?
Oh, that's better. Yeah. So October 5th, we'll put the podcast on. We'd love to have you on the show since I'm the first to ever do a podcast with you. Maybe we'll pull your arm or strangle you somehow and get you to come on our show.
I'll be more than happy to do that. I'll be honest. I'm kind of pivoting a lot now with my YouTube channel because I was doing a lot of politics, and which I still do on Nino's Corner.tv, but I'm kind of making the pivot. I'm covering some. I'm going to start rounding the bases a little bit, covering all my bases because I gotta keep some things on the lighter side, man, because it's just too heavy, this shit that's going on in the world today.
But we
It's
need you as
just-
a fighter. You're a fighter, and you're 36-0. I know there was a couple of other things, but we needed fighters like you to, because we're coming to a crossroads where we're
Yeah.
going to be China or we're going to be the USA. So I mean, the elites
100%.
want the China. Elites are like salivating when they see China and the elites controlling 99% of the people. And the people don't know what to do. There's no comedy. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
I've been to China. So that's where it's going. And the elites, one thing I want to just paraphrase, because I was in a cult myself. We don't have to mention the cult, but power. I mean, obviously power corrupts and all absolute power corrupts, absolutely. But I'll just paraphrase. Power is an ecstasy there. There's a pleasure there. And that's what's going on. It's not just power. There's an ecstasy and they don't want to let it go. Of course, they get the girls, they get the money, they get the little kids or whatever they're into. But they don't want to give that up, and they love. And through COVID, they saw that power, and they all came out of their graves. All the what's good about Trump losing is we saw how all the zombies came out of the grave.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's why he needs to come back. I like the other candidate. I even like the Democratic guy, the guy with the voice, Kennedy. But he needs to come back and just aim and shoot and take the heads off the snake.
No, I agree, but we'll go. If you ever want to come and talk politics, we'll go on Nino's Corner.tv and we'll definitely dive into that.
This is more of a light thing. Okay.
Yeah, because you're an entrepreneur and I would love to hear your views on some things, but let's keep it light for YouTube.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, I'm trying to this is all I cover all day long.
Oh, okay. But I just want to tell you, that's why I came out with the show. I mean, there was two reasons. I wanted to come out because of I'm developing those products, but then also I just was sitting there and I can't, as a man, I just can't. I grew up in Brooklyn. I wasn't a big fighter in Brooklyn, but I just thought this is the time we need to fight and stand up. But yeah, I understand.
You're right. And who would know more than you? I mean, look, comedy's dying. I just went to comedy's dying. I went to the comedy mothership in Austin to go watch Joe Rogan. I went with BJ Penn to the Joe Rogan show, and he invited us over to his comedy act afterwards. And I watched all the comedians, the same theme. What is going on in the world today? Like they were all talking about, all the propaganda, the agendas that are being played right now, everything, dude. And they all had the same theme. So this is on everybody's mind. Everybody knows what time it is, dude. Everyone knows we are in serious shit right now.
Right. And I do comedy. My commercials are all about comedy. That's why I think if you look at it in retrospect, when I did the commercials, no one was pushing the envelope on commercials. Everybody was safe and friendly. And I thought, I always saw where the line was. Oh, I can cross the line. And, even some generic jokes like, you're going to love my nuts. I mean, it's kind of generic, but the fact that I put it in was historical. So, now that comedy is being attacked and I see even Chappelle kind of like being safe.
Everybody's being safe right now.
He says the joke, but he doesn't go forward.
No, dude, nobody does. Nobody does.
And that's why
I noticed it even, and I'm not putting him down, but I noticed it even with like Joe Rogan's crew, the people that were there. They went over, they stepped over the line, went right back in. They never colored out of the line.
Right, because they're a little concerned. But then I say, hey, comedy, the long version, you can see it on the SHAMWOW guy on YouTube. The long version says that comedy should have all the passes F and once. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So
on
that's
that.
the point. Comedy, there shouldn't be any restrictions on comedy, and we shouldn't be like reacting to some woke person. A woke person is really a heckler in the crowd.
Yeah,
and the only reason they're ubiquitous is because the internet's ubiquitous. So they're everywhere because of that. But if you take them out, isolate them, they're nothing. They're basically a heckler. And they're really the real Karens. I mean, I hate the word
100%.
Karens. I like, that's a nice name if you have it, but they're the real Karens. They're the ones that get triggered. They're the ones with the hate. I understand the right has a little hate, but they have more anger. You got to distinguish.
They're fucking violent, bro.
Anger. Huh?
They're violent. They're mean. Yeah.
They're the more violent. So when a criminal says the other person is committing the crime, it's usually them.
Exactly. And they're
so I have a lot of
tolerant.
insight. Maybe we can come on the more serious show, but I have a lot of insight on it because I was in a cult. I was controlled by a lot of powerful
What do you
people.
mean you were in a cult?
Well, I was in a cult for 20 years when I was younger. I don't want to mention the cult right now, but it's a cult that controls you. And it was mostly a reading cult. It wasn't a sex cult.
I mean, can I say Scientology or?
I mean, I can't disavow it. I can't confirm it. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of, there was a lot of control there. Listen, every cult has good things, though. There's a lot of good principles. That's how they get in. They procure other principles from other resources.
If you're really talking about if you're talking about Scientology, I went and visited Scientology. I went to the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. I found it to be very positive in a lot of ways. They did start bothering me a little bit, and I had to put my foot down. But you know, and then when I would go eat lunch or something, they'd have some dudes on a bike follow me, and then I was like, all right, man, come here for a second. I gotta talk to you guys. And they came over to me. I was like, do you want a beer? You want to take a shot? And then I started getting hammered in front of them. They're like, oh, this guy's fucking, he's a lost cause. Let's just run for your life.
You're too independent-minded. But you know, I know I don't want to know if it's Scientology or not, but I'm just saying that they all have the bait is they have good principles. They do. They all have you know, they all believe in a spiritual being. I think we're all spiritual beings. You know, we're all non-binary if you think about it after you die. Not in this life though, of course, is the female and male. But we're all spiritual beings, and this is like a big planet. We're all a big family. So I just thought this is a good chance. And when you wanted me to be on your show, I thought this is a good opportunity, one, to be on your show because you're an icon in what you're doing, and also I thought it's a perfect time to promote what I'm trying to do and just to get the word out of a lot of things I'm doing. But I just think just the standing up against China. I don't want to be the next communist, all the isms, Maoism, communism, Nazism, and I'm Jewish. We need to, I'm from Israel, so I don't know how the American Jews are, but my thing is never forget. So I need to remember, what does that mean, never forget? 6 million Jews died, but yes, but also how it evolved, how no one stopped anybody. And that's how it, so now it's like,
got out of hand.
You're a fighter. And I thought, oh, okay, I know you're doing something light, but also it's good that you're still.
No, I'm glad you're bringing this up. That just shows you the temperature of America right now, where everyone's mindset is. You know, I tried to bring you on for something else, and we're already talking about this. So that shows you right there where we're at, what time it is.
Yeah. I mean, we still talk about it, but the thing is, it's like I just look at it like a big tangled ball of barbed wire, and everybody's got their little truths in there and their little fact checkers, and everybody has their own studies, but it's a big ball of barbed wire. And because 20 years ago, I was in a cult, and I was also banned by Hollywood on my film, and also kind of ostracized all in the 90s. I'm like, so I learned a lot. So I was at deer in headlights too. I wasn't deer, I was in a daze, but I learned a lot, and I see what's going on now. It's like, oh, it's the same thing that happened to me 20 years ago. So it takes time for people to figure it out. But this ball of barbed wire, I think with my show, and I think hopefully with your show, we can slowly take each little truth and expose it. And once you expose it and really look at it for what it is, because there's truth and there's the real truth. And then when you get to the real truth, and I think if you can see the real truth, if you understand, listen, I'm a high school dropout. Like I said, I'm a high school dropout. I'm not, I'm a simpleton, but I'm kind of like the kid in the fable, The King Has No Clothes. So I'm saying, hey, that's why I thought maybe you can listen to me and maybe you, and we can help discern all this confusion and take this barbed wire and undo it, and then everybody will be happier. So we're saving the world.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And you did revolutionize the infomercial world. You did. You changed it, and I give you credit for that. I mean, you're the guy that came out and you made it absolutely hilarious, dude. And that's what it needed. It used to be so serious, and you came out and you just boom, you struck a chord with the nation.
Well, the way I started with the reason I think I wasn't born like that. I mean, I was testing it in the flea markets. I went to the flea markets and I would test different things. I would be really nice, polite, like they were on TV. Hey, can I show you how this works? And nah. Oh, that didn't work. Then I just turned up the New York accent. Okay, hey, get over here. I want to show you how this works. You don't have to buy nothing. Nobody else is. Blah blah blah. Come here. So they're like, oh yeah, I want to check this out. So they like that little force, but not like a mean. It wasn't like a mean force. It was just like an excited. I'm being exciting. Yeah. So it's kind of like.
So you were testing this out in flea markets first? Like that's how you got your start?
Yeah, I started. Okay, so you want to know where I started? Okay, so in the 80s when I was just in my 20s, I was trying to get a waiter job, but I didn't have an experience and no one wanted me. But these Swedish friends that came from Sweden, they brought product over. They're in their 20s too. A lot of them were models. And then I was going out to nightclubs, and this one model looked just like me. His name was Dan Blum. He was I think he was unmarried with children. You've probably seen him there. But anyway, he was bald when he was bigger. But all the girls liked him, and then a lot of girls would come up to me, "Hey, Dan." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not Dan." And then, "Oh, you're not."
But I can be.
Yeah, so I didn't disavow it right away. I told them later I'm not Dan. But I think it was just nice because I was kind of shy, a little bit shy with girls. And and then I met him, and then he was selling stuff in the flea markets, and he was selling the chamois. It was called the super chamois, and then that's how I kind of started through this group of Swedish friends.
Wow. So
And
that's how
became
you
friends
started.
with-
You got introduced by a bunch of friends. So how did you hit TV? How did it go so big?
Okay, well, TV is a little bit different. So remember that movie, the underground comedy movie? That's the movie I was in. It's a skit movie. What happened was Tamara Rawat, producer of In Living Color, called me up in my when I was doing public access, and she said, "Can you write some skits for me?" I'm like, "Oh, cool." Wow,
She just
Tamara
called
Rawat,
you out of the blue?
Yeah, well, she saw some. Okay, back in the '80s, there wasn't a YouTube thing. It was just kind of
Right.
like you can put stuff on YouTube,
Public access. Yes.
So I did a bunch of skits. This is the skits called Underground Comedy Show. That's the skits I was in.
Where was this? Where was this public access? What
In-
town?
in-
Because every city has their
80s.
own, right?
Yeah, it was just local. It was the county, so local. It was like in LA.
Okay.
So yeah, I put it on public access, and Juliet Lewis's brother was in it with me. He's the one who hooked me up with it. He had the cameras and everything. So we did a bunch of skits, and then she called me. I'm like, wow, In Living Color called me. And I was a huge fan. And then you can come in and meet the main guy. And I'm like, great. So I wrote 10 skits for them. And
Wow.
in 2 days. with a
In
friend of
Living
mine.
Color skits?
Yeah, I wrote
Oh,
Homie
wow,
Alone.
dude.
Well, okay, so they never used it, but I wrote Homie Alone, a bunch of stuff. They never used it. I think because I found out later that they were already, the contract was up with Fox or something. But nevertheless, I used some of those skits in the movie I made in the '80s, the 90s, the underground comedy movie. It's like things you'll never see: supermodels taking a poop, with the D word. So that's kind of, and we used to. Okay, so when this came out in 1990, we filmed it in '96 and it came out in '99, and the critics killed it because the critics are, at the time I didn't know what it was. I didn't know they were woke
Yeah.
ideologues from the Ivy League schools. I thought they were just conservative, religious people. I didn't know. I'm like, what? They didn't like Dick Man Fights Lesbians. They didn't like Miss America Bag Lady pageant with Slash. I mean, what's going on with these guys? So, but they all colluded. They all said it was the worst movie ever made. I'm like, what? And then they said they're not stupid because they know you want to see the worst movie ever made.
Yeah.
So then they said it's not funny, not a molecule of humor. I can send you later on. I can send you the actual clips. And they all colluded. And this is a midnight screening at Lamb Sunset 5. It's not like a mainstream movie. I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know why they're reviewing it. But in hindsight, they're reviewing it because they wanted to smash it just in case it took off, because it is cutting edge. There's a lot of material in there. Like I said, it was like first time semen in the movie. There's Michael Clark Dunn virgin. So there's a lot of stuff hitting against making fun of the elites. So and the elites don't like to be made fun of. At that time, I didn't understand why they attacked me. At the same time, I was getting kicked out of my cult. They were calling me a criminal. So it's like I'm getting hit like by
when was
sides.
this? This was before your career took off.
1999.
So when did you hit it big with SHAMWOW?
Huh?
When did you hit it big with SHAMWOW?
Okay, so then I hit it big. Okay, so right before SHAMWOW, just to do it's better for me to explain in chronological order, otherwise I get confused. So then, okay, so when the critics hit me on this movie, saying it's the worst movie, no one's coming to the theater. I'm like, oh man, so I'm pretty resilient usually in my personality. So I thought, okay, why don't I get a mini DV player, go with my friend and show them. I had a flyer with the supermodels, right? Hey guys, supermodels taking a dump, check out the trailer. So the trailer, they watch a trailer and then they come to the theater. So then we fill up the theater. The Lamneys guy couldn't believe it, because usually when you have bad reviews and you have like 5 people in the theater, the next week it's dead. But then the next week, us, we sold out. So we kept selling out. So we kept doing that. And then I had the epiphany. I saw Girls Gone Wild on TV. I'm like, how do they show naked girls on late night TV? Who passed this along? I find out later that, there's a little side money and some girls being passed around. But anyway, I thought, oh, why don't I put an 800 number on the movie and make a infomercial? So I took the trailer and added the 800 number, put it on Comedy Central. That was the only channel that approved it.
Wow.
And then it was a hit from 11 to 2 at night. There was a little slot, and we made like 20 grand a week. And then we sold it to a distributor, and we sold 100,000 units, and it was like I got my money back. I made a profit, and then I said, "Wow."
So that was all you do. That was you thinking out of the box. You made that happen.
Right, thinking out of the box. That's the key. Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of circumvented the system. You went around it. You did it your own way.
Yeah, I was good.
Brilliant, bro.
I'm realizing I'm pretty. Sometimes you as you live through life, you realize, oh, I'm really good at that. So anything you're good at, you try to like hone in on that and try to like capitalize it. Oh yeah. So and then I said, well, why don't I do a product that I know how to do? I knew the 𝗬𝗵𝗲𝗃 from the Swedish guys. Why don't I do a product instead of being on a channel from 11 to 2? Why don't I be on a channel, every channel, like all day? And I said, why don't I do the super 𝗬𝗵𝗃 at the time? I'll do the super 𝗬𝗵𝗃, put it on TV, and then I should be making millions, and it did. It made millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. And it was just made for like $5-6 grand.
How long did you do the SHAMWOW commercial? How long did that run?
It ran from 2008 to 2010, and just after 2 years, it gets a little redundant. Everybody bought it. It still does real well. It sells on its own. The slap chop's doing well. So then I crossed over to the slap chop. But
so you're still making money. You're still making money from it, right? Are you?
Huh?
Are you still making? Okay, good.
Yeah, we sell a lot on Amazon. I mean, people when they spill something, I created a whole category. When they spill something, they, I need that SHAMWOW. I was going to call it Sham It Up, but like ham it up. But then someone had Sham It, so I couldn't do it. So then I thought, what about I do like SHAMWOW? And I came up with SHAMWOW. So then,
dude, you were everywhere.
Came to be.
You were like the biggest face of the infomercials for a while there. You were like the king of the infomercials. You really were.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I still. I mean, it's just right now. A lot of people we're losing a lot of people on TV to social media. So because of streaming. So when you put a product, we have a new product called 𝗀𝗵𝗃𝗹𝗆. It's like a big flag with a towel on.
Right, and you run it over the car.
Yeah, it does the car real fast.
So I mean, just change the game. Why can't you just change the game and go social media? I mean, are infomercials on like the dying? Are they basically on their last breath right now? I mean, I don't even know how this works.
I mean, yeah, because when you throw it up on the TV. Well, look, I was spoiled from 10 years ago. It was from I think in 2015, everybody went to stream, or 16. But before I was a little spoiled. You just put on TV and then you don't have to do anything. It just organically goes on social media. But now you have to kind of like buy ads and start doing TikTok. And I'm working it. So I'm not a big social media guy. I didn't realize the potential it had. In fact, there's a lot of impersonators being me a few years ago. So my social media is not great. My YouTube though is like, I'm almost at a couple 100,000 followers, which is not bad. I mean, considering
that's huge. That's real big.
Yeah, that's real good. And I think because I stopped other people from using the video, the impersonators, I kind of let them be. There was a lot of impersonators being me, so I just kind of let them be there. But I didn't know the value of it. Probably because of my karma, because I pretended to be the Swedish guys. So now it came back to me. So it's okay. So I'm building that up. I hired some people to build it. A Disney celebrity is helping me with the social media.
But when you hit your peak in SHAMWOW, it got really big, and then you started. Didn't they offer you a movie?
Good for sweating, by the way. If you sweat, I'll send you some.
Yeah, send me some.
Yeah.
So you then didn't they offer you a movie after the infomercials got really big? You did a stint in Hollywood, didn't you?
Oh no, that was I did the Inappropriate Comedy, which is a remake. I just have it here. So this was a remake of the Underground comedy movie, but I'm not in this movie. 𝗫𝗓𝗃 is in it. Joe Rogan, by the way, Joe Rogan said he loves this movie. To 𝗫𝗓𝗃, because in 2013 when we were going to a talk show, Ari said to me, "Hey, Joe Rogan loves your movie." I'm like, "Joe Rogan, the Fear Factor guy?" I mean, I didn't know he was blowing up on podcasting, but he goes, "Yeah, he loves your movie." I'm like, "Oh, cool." Well, that movie was based on this movie, but I'm not in this movie. Theo Von's in this. 𝗫𝗓𝗃, Adrian Brody, Michelle Rodriguez, Rob Schneider.
And can you get it on Amazon or anything like that? Can you just
it's on Amazon. We have a studio that has it. I'm getting the rights back, and I'm thinking to put it on YouTube and maybe do what Andrew Schultz did and 𝗫𝗓𝗃, where they just put it on and get tips. Because, I got hammered by the critics also on this movie because it was 𝗫𝗓𝗃 is the amazing racist.
Yes.
And he's like teaching Asian
I
people how to drive.
I saw him in Austin. I saw his stand-up. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny. But when I saw him do some shtick in YouTube in 2012, I was like, you know, why don't I hire him to be in this movie? We'll do another skit movie based on my first movie, but we'll add him in it. And I thought, oh, it'd be funny where he teaches Asian people how to drive. And then so and I thought, oh, I'll give him some tape. He'll tape their eyes so they're bigger. So it's funny. I mean, obviously we're making fun of racism, but we're just making fun of stereotypes.
Yeah, dude, that's life,
So,
bro. Like, look,
people gotta
like,
lighten
no
up
one's gonna
because-
tell me what's funny and what's not, right? Like
Yeah.
to me, I find some of the most racist jokes hilarious. And then listen, growing up in El Paso, that's all you're
Yeah.
told is racist Mexican jokes. Like that's all I grew up listening to. And I'm laughing about my own culture. I don't care.
I
It
love
doesn't
about
bother
Jews.
me.
I mean, they're bad cooks. They're
Dude,
cheap.
it's hilarious.
It's good to be cheap. Hey, when I used to sell at the flea market, I put people from India. I love them. They're smart. But when I used to sell at the flea market, I see them coming down. I'm like, I got to negotiate now. But they're the best negotiators. They are. If I want to go buy a car, I'm going to hire them. But it's a stereotype because it's part of the culture. I mean, I'm not saying 100%, but a good 80, 90% are good.
Yeah, and it's
Not negotiating.
hilarious. It's
It's
hilarious.
not a negative thing. It's just like
It's not.
black people are just like very upbeat. They're like, you know
Yes.
what?
Why?
We're too independent minded. Like,
Yeah.
for real? Hell no.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Hell
How
no.
come I can't get a black guy? We need more black guys so we can promote the black. But it's a good thing. Some stereotypes are great. Some are not, but that's okay.
So let's talk about, I love comeback stories, right? So some shit happened to you, bro. So, and listen, everyone knows what happened to me. I got my face slit open. I had an altercation. I overdosed on drugs. I died twice. I came back. I
Jeez.
got knocked out. I had some serious, things happen to me in my
Well,
life.
my life's like a cow grazing in the woods or something. That's nothing compared to your life.
Yeah, it was insane. But the fact is that you're resilient and you're still going.
Right.
And you've been, and I've wondered about you for a while. I was like, what happened to that guy? And then, like I said, you showed up on my feed. I swear, I think YouTube can read minds. I really do believe that.
Or I believe sometimes, I don't know if you believe this.
No, I probably do.
Okay. I believe we're spiritual beings. Okay.
Yes.
I believe we have kind of like coaches up there. And they're like, if we don't learn a lesson, they kind of hit you. Okay, you know what? You're gonna go here and you're gonna get hit because you're not learning a lesson. And like, oh, okay. Because I'm not saying there's coaches for everybody, but like, special
like
beings,
guides, like spiritual
like
guides.
guides. Okay. And they maybe put something in a dream or they like give you a thought or maybe they want you to meet someone, they throw it in. I sometimes think that's what's going on. And I think that's what's happening. And I think that this world is coming to it could come to an end here. I mean, we almost
I can't say end. I'm going to say a shift. It's going to be a massive shift.
You're going to surround someone. We almost try to surround him, isolate him, and destroy him. Why would you do that with a guy who has 6,000 Hiroshima bombs? That's freaking crazy. And that's when I realized, okay, I got to speak up because this is crazy. I mean, I don't want to wake up and all of a sudden everything's gone because we got someone put a puppet in.
I don't think you'll wake up with everything gone. We'll all be gone.
Yeah, and elites don't understand that. Elites need to like wake up. Yeah. And I'm Jewish. We need to communicate to the Jews in Hollywood, like, hey, never forget. We got to stop suppressing the other side, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. We have to have free speech. You can't suppress the other side. So I'm telling all my Jewish brothers and sisters, which is probably controlling the majority of the news media, right? I'm not saying vast majority, but 30-40%. We got to remember, we can't be our worst enemy. We got to look in the mirror. What says the PR guy that sprinkle the hate on the Germans. Right now, they're sprinkling hate. And I, as an Israeli, being brought up and never forget, I need to express this to my Jewish brothers and sisters in Hollywood. You got to stop this. And we also got to talk to the comedians. They need to step up. Guys, you're the ones who are going to get shut down.
People are scared, man. People are cowards.
Right. Well, that's why
people are cowards. I mean, anyone that watches my channel, look, I on YouTube, just so I don't get bombed, I bob and weave on here, but I send everyone to my Rumble channel and I send everyone to Nino's Corner.tv. I on, dude, and I got nobody. You know what I mean? I'm going for it.
Right.
I'm speaking my mind. No one's going to stop me from speaking my mind. And that's
we need more guys like you. You're a fighter.
Yeah, it's like
we all have to be fighters. Here's the good news: we don't have to die in Normandy. This isn't a war, World War II, but this is a war where we need to like step up.
This could be worse in the long run.
Yeah,
worse.
exactly.
This could
because
be
like I said,
slavery
in some ways,
and
it was good that went with China because it kind of released a little bit of the. He's not going to go psycho, and he's not being surrounded. But he's kicking. This is kicking the can down the road because it's a problem. But yeah, so we need guys like you, and you're on the front line, but we need to help you, and that's why I'm coming. I'd like to, I'm promoting this podcast really also to the comedians out there, the Chappelle's, the Rogans, like, hey guys, you need to step up. I'll take the flag if you guys are afraid of being canceled or afraid of being censored.
There's something going on, man, because I'm noticing more and more comedians they just barely put their toe in the water and dip out, and it's like,
yeah, I mean, you gotta go forward. I mean, even Chappelle, I mean, man, you're the main guy. I mean,
I know he's completely
you can't
backed
be concerned
off, huh?
about it.
I think probably he's been threatened. He's been sat down and said, listen, either you play ball or this is what's going to happen. And I think he just said, you know what, I'm going to peacefully fade away.
Look, it's not about us. Our life's is short if you consider that we've been around for millions of years. So this has been going on for eons.
Yeah.
It's the same pattern. Okay, I'll tell you the pattern because, like I said, I have a little expertise because I've been controlled. I know about power. I know about censorship. It's the same pattern. It's censorship or muzzle you, and if they don't, they cancel you, and if they don't, they character assassinate you and try to kill you, or
they'll arrest you first and then they get you there with
and they sprinkle it with the hate. All right,
yeah,
so that's the same pattern that's going on with communism, all these. It's so easy. I mean, you cancel the Jew in the store, don't shop with him. You can see everything evolving. The records are there, you can just see it's the same. So here's the thing with the left, okay, is that you know how they didn't like you because what? You're different, right?
Yep.
You're black, right? The color of your skin, right? The color of your skin. The left is they don't like you because you're different because of the color of your thought. Okay? So it's the same thing. It's the same racism, but it's not racism,
more
thoughtism. So, but it's the same hate. They need to stop. Now, they're trying to say, well, the right also is hate. No, they're more angry. You're putting men into women's bathroom. We're angry about it. Maybe we have a little hate, but we're angry. There's a difference.
Rightful anger.
Appropriate. Yeah, rightful anger is appropriate. Hateful, no. One is hateful, one is anger. And that's why, you're a fighter. I wanted to come on your show for the first time. I know what you're doing. So I want to and let's get all the comedians to come on board. And let's we got to fight fire with fire. I learned this from again, you should know this as a fighter. When I was in Brooklyn, when I was being too nice and try diplomatic, I just get beat up even more.
Yeah. You just get it worse.
Yeah. You got to fight back.
And that's why, and you saw my book, When the Lights Go Out, I talk about being bullied all my life. I was bullied,
Wow.
but when I was a kid, I was bullied quite a bit. I was beat up a few times. And it wasn't until I turned into that rabid dog, and then I went the other direction. I turned into the bully after high school. I turned into because I didn't want to take any more shit. So what happened was I was a kid that got picked on, and then I became the junkyard dog. And then it got to the point where I'm finally in a happy medium balance, and I'm nice to everybody. I try to be the nicest guy, but the truth is, I got to the point that I wouldn't even let anyone think twice about trying to even say anything to me. So I became reactive. Like someone would look at me weird, I'd be like, "Excuse me," and then it would be on, and then it'd be like, "Whoa, dude, you're overreactive." So I went off to the other side. Finally, I found that happy middle place where I don't let anyone dictate the pace with me with trying to get one up on me or push me around or nothing, because I learned you can't let a bully, you can't give them this much because they'll take this much. And it's the same with our government. We the people, we need to pull the reins on this runaway train that's happening right now. And people are being cowards. They're being too scared. They're being too quiet. They're not saying anything. They're scared what their neighbors will think of them, what their family will think of them. They'll get fired from their job. Hey, folks, we don't have much more time. It's time now. This is it. We got to do it now. So now that being said, let's jump back into your life.
No, but what's important, because your experience and what happened to you, we need to apply that now on a broader scale. And we need to wake these populations up. These like I said, the comedians, the politicians, the celebrities, the Jews in Hollywood. Again,
it's like
I'm
this,
Jewish,
man.
so
When you get, I fought for a living. And when I got beat up on the blacktop in school and embarrassed and, bloody nose and stuff, I realized, okay, this is as worse as it gets. I can never be this embarrassed again. So now I'm changing my life around and I'm going to be that guy. I mean, that's what happened. So, but that had to happen to me early in life because that's what made me a fighter. And I held that complex my entire life. I have a small man complex, dude. Like I'm 6'5", 270, but I'm a small guy living in a big man's body, and that's dangerous.
No, but
Because-
it's good that you kind of went through the bully stage. I mean, the bully stage, and you became a bully because it gives you like different perspectives. And now
Right.
that you can teach others, and that's why it's so important that you blow up, and then you'll be one of the leaders that can help change this culture. Because the left, socialist left, they're trying to make everybody don't
right.
dissent,
Think they're
don't
putting them
dissent.
all in the same box. And dude, it's
Yeah.
scary because I go speak at schools for bullying, right? I did this. I haven't done it in the
wow.
last 3 years, but I would go speak at schools, and every year I was noticing more and more of this transition happening with especially the boys. The boys were becoming more feminine, and they were becoming more coddled and more weak. They were becoming weaker. They didn't have those, it didn't seem like they had those raging hormones like we did in school, and they weren't full of fire and piss and vinegar. They were coddled and very feminine. And I was like, this is not what I've seen in my days growing up, man.
No, I'm not saying it's the hippie culture, but the hippies, when they got older, became teachers.
Yeah.
They know all the isms. They all know to get to the youth. They
Yes.
get to the youth, and then they all, this whole thing about kindness and inclusivity, that's a code word.
Yeah.
Be controlled by us, and we're going to tell you how to act. Because like I said, they love to control. It's an ecstasy. It's like a drug. But,
Yeah.
we need, and what I'm seeing in the schools, that's why I'm still in LA, because I want to see what's going on. I'm seeing all the good teachers who are combating the woke teachers. They're getting fired, or they
Yeah,
leave.
of course they are.
They're getting fired or leaving. And all
That's
the
how they're
bad
doing it.
teachers are
That's
coming in.
bullying, but that is bullying.
Yeah, that's
So-
bullying. It's a different kind of bullying. That's why it's important that you express that to society. And then that's why all these private schools are full. 50 grand, 60 grand. They're all full because nobody wants to go into these LAUSD. I mean, they're crazy.
And people are homeschooling too. Homeschooling is like the
Yeah,
safest
but it's
bet.
hard to homeschool. I mean, first of all, you got.
Then again, you might raise a
$50,000 for
weirdo.
taxes.
You might raise
Huh?
a kid that's like secluded from everything, and he grows up to be a hermit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He just hates society.
Yeah, but the thing is with homeschool, I mean, what's good, you want to be in school because you want to interact with your peers and your other students, and then that's part of growing up. And you want to have, friends, and parents are hard to homeschool, especially if you're a single parent. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot to, sorry, I know we're supposed to be light, but
No, it is what it is.
there's a lot on my mind, and I just went, one of the reasons I came up with that podcast, and that, yeah, we can get you on the show too down the road.
Absolutely.
But,
So, dude, let's talk about when you hit rock bottom, man, because everyone hits rock
Yeah, I
bottom.
mean-
I hit rock bottom.
yeah.
Everybody hits rock bottom. Some shit happened to you. Do you want to go into that? Are you comfortable about talking that? Are you not comfortable?
Well, I
talking
mean,
about
there
it?
wasn't
Here to
too
make
much.
you uncomfortable.
First of all, to me, rock bottom was getting hit by the critics, by the cult, by Hollywood. A lot of my material in underground comedy movie, this movie, right, was lifted and put in another movie called Something About Mary. I showed it
Really?
to 𝗫𝗫𝗃𝗫. First, 𝗫𝗫𝗃𝗫 remembered my first movie, the public access movie, when in the 80s. 𝗫𝗫𝗃𝗫 is the manager of Madonna, and I was trying to. This was 1996, early 96. I was looking for celebrities to be in my movie. I finished half of it, and I'm walking around looking for celebrities at Chateau Marmont, and 𝗫𝗫𝗃𝗫 was having a party. I didn't know who he was. I was just walking by. He goes, "Hey, Vince." I go, "Hey, hi, who are you?" "I'm Guy. I manage Madonna." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I mean, he didn't say it. I mean, I found out later he managed it, but he was having a party, a birthday party. And while I'm talking to him, Adam Sandler comes out and says goodbye to him. I'm like, whoa. Leo DiCaprio's driving by in a convertible with his models or whatever, waving to Guy. I'm like, who is this guy? Well, he's the guy who can maybe help me put some celebrities in underground comedy movie, because I'm the one in it. I don't have any celebrities except 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗹. Michael Clark Duncan wasn't a big star yet. And I'm like, oh, I said, hey, I'm glad you're a fan of mine. I'm remaking that public access into a movie. Would you mind helping me maybe procure some celebrities in it? He goes, yeah, I'll show it around. Send me a rough cut. So I sent him a rough cut. He shows it to Ben Stiller, Stephen Dorff. I see them 2 months later in a party on Wilshire and the Macy's building, at a party, and I come up to them, hey, did you guys see the movie? And Ben Stiller goes, yeah, I saw it, was great. And it was a little loud. Steve goes, yeah, I love it, Stephen Dorff. And then I call 𝗫𝗫𝗃𝗫𝗃 the next day. I asked him, hey, I heard he was in I think he was hungover in hindsight. I didn't know, I wasn't drinking back then. I was still in the cult. And he was like, yeah, he saw the movie, but he doesn't want to be in it. I'm like, okay, no big deal. Anyway, 3 years later, I'm sitting watching something about Mary, and there's like 13 scenes in my movie.
They ripped you off.
Yeah, and I can send you
Dude,
the
that
back scenes when you
sucks.
get a chance. And anyway, so that
happens in the music industry. That happens in every industry, man.
Yeah, that was, and it would have been difficult to sue him in court. I was also still programmed from the cult. Like I said, I didn't have my whole nomenclature was the cult.
What's
and,
that? What's that?
I came here from Israel at 6 years old. I didn't have a lot of. My mom. I was a single mom. I didn't have any siblings. So, and she spoke in broken English. So in some ways, when you're blind, your hearing gets better.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't express myself very well. I couldn't combine words with deep thoughts. So my visualization, I think, helped enhanced, right? And that, in turn, helped me write comedy, because then I can see a little bit better in terms of like where the line is, how far I can cross it. I'm very visual. A lot of the comedy is even the slap chop. I'm throwing things in the air. I'm throwing things through a window. So I'm always thinking that way. And then again, so that visualization helped me, and I think that's made me a little bit more. I think it's actually enhanced my ability to look at things. And then now my nomenclature has my lexicon has been better since then, but it took a while. So anyway, so that's that's the one area in the 90s that was really affecting me. To me, that's the down.
Right.
But I was always happy, because as a spirit, I'm like, oh, I'm not in the cult anymore. Okay, I don't have this move.
Can you talk about how you broke out of it? How did you get out of that cult?
Oh, okay. Well, when I left, my lawyer, I hired a lawyer, and he deprogrammed me in the woods in San Francisco. Up in San Francisco, there was those with the big trees, the big
redwood.
Yeah, walking around. He just helped to program me. So deprogramming is another thing that's important, because, like I said, remember the tangled ball of misinformation. You have to you got to do it on a step-by-step, incrementally. You can't hit them hard, especially if they're really,
And that's funny you say that, because that's exactly what's happening to society right now. We are slowly, with podcasters, with people like myself and other people, we're slowly deprogramming this this captured mindset that we've been captured in for decades, since the beginning. And this is now the exposing that's happening right now. We're untangling that web of mind control. Really, that's what's happening.
That's why it's so important for you to keep pushing it and hitting, fighting. It's great that you were a fighter physically, but now you have to be like a fighter spiritually. And
you got to be.
My dad was a boxer, by the way, in Israel. Huh?
You got to be so much more of a Jedi now.
Yeah, you got to be more of a Jedi. That's right. But I think your experience really helps with definitely an area, like you said, about bullying. And I think and that's what's going on. It is a psychological bullying, And like I said, because I was in a cult, I left the cult. There was an incident in Miami. Obviously, I didn't know how to party. I got with this.
Let's talk. Do you want to talk about that
in the bank? I didn't.
Do you want to talk about that, or you don't want to talk about that?
I can talk about it real quick.
So something happened in Miami. It was like with a hooker.
Well, look, I just got out of a cult. I still don't know what my mission is. I obviously I'm getting famous. Not me personally, the commercial. I didn't know I was that famous.
Yeah, but you were getting famous. You were getting big.
Yeah, I was getting famous. I knew I was people seeing me, but I'm not watching every channel. But I know, I had $20 million in the bank. This is before taxes. And I didn't know how to party. I was 20 years in a cult. I was repressed sexually, to be honest. It's a reading cult. It wasn't a sex cult. But anyway, so I was reading a lot. So I don't know, I had 14 hours of alcohol in me. I never had that before. I got my nails done at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they gave me alcohol, and we just kept going. A friend of mine brought a bunch of.
So you never really drank?
No.
Whoa.
I never.
Dude, okay. I was getting wasted at home.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy life here.
Okay, I started drinking at 34, 35.
Wow, that's late.
30, but I wasn't drinking hardcore like this. I never drank in the afternoon. And every time I drink, when I was in the cult, I have to write myself up. It's like a snitch program on yourself. You masturbate, you got to write yourself up.
Really?
try to have sex with
To
someone. or
hold
have sex
yourself
with someone.
accountable.
Yeah, you got to take it really accountable. Listen, I believe in I do believe a little bit in that you have to have a little responsibility, because I believe sex, like I said, I'm kind of like the kid looking at things for what it is. I believe sex, is made by the higher power. Obviously, where there's a higher power, I believe you've got eyes, nose, digestion system. I mean, we're definitely made by something. So I believe that sex is made for procreating, make sure family unit is intact, and the guy doesn't run away. But I think we're abusing that. So, but when I was in a cult, it's reverse. It's like completely nothing. So when I got, like I said, when I got out, I had 14 hours of alcohol. I mean, I was like 4 a.m. I couldn't talk to anybody. I probably wasted $100,000, which is nothing to me at the time because there was so much money I had. Just in buying champagne bottles for every table, and I think I was just a mess. And then this girl said, "Let's go to your
wanting
place."
to just be accepted, bro. You were just trying to be liked. You were just
exactly, and I just didn't know how to act.
That's all that is.
Yeah. And long story short, I mean, nothing really happened. In fact, I was trying to, I changed my mind. I was letting the girl go, and then we got into a fight,
Bro, if you knew my stories.
Yeah, see, I'm lame. I'm
day
lame
in the
compared to your
life for
stories.
me.
That's why it's great when you come on my show. Then we can,
I can really
my
dig
co-host.
deep. Yeah.
My co-host
Your
Matt's
story will be a
question
Boy
for-
Scout story, bro.
Huh?
Okay, let me just tell you. All right.
What?
I said that's Boy Scout stuff compared to the
Exactly.
shit my friends have done. So
That's
you
why
know, I can tell you about the donkey show. Okay, I can tell you about the donkey show. All right.
Yeah. No, no. Well, my Russian mom kept me in. Before I was even in the cult, my mom kept me. She had her own cult. I was secluded in my own room. She was like, Russian women are very strong.
I have another friend, actually. His name's Steve, out in Austin. He just broke out of a cult when he was 19, and his family turned their back on him. He hasn't talked to them since. And it was a religious, I guess, some kind of, I don't know what it was, a Christian something, but very. They had a community out west or something. I don't know the whole story, but he told me the story of how he broke out of that and how his whole family turned on him. And it's these are serious, man. It's serious. And people take it very serious, especially when you're like the kid that's like looking for freedom or trying to break away. They try to make sure that they will ostracize you. They will castrate you. They will kick you out. They will never talk to you again. They'll make your life hell.
Yeah, in the beginning, it's all great because there's some good. Listen, they take principles from other resources and combine it together, but then if you leave or and then they put some false principles there later, like, hey, if you leave, you can get killed, you can get sick, and then also if you talk to him, you're gonna get cancer. So there's some falsity. So it's always like, even probably right, but then they throw in this other. Like, it's good principles to be inclusive and be kind, and
right.
But then there's to a point. I mean, you can't do. It's not a blanket thing. I mean, you can't be kind to somebody who wants to come into your house and steal stuff.
Right.
You got to let him be a robber. He wants to be a robber. No, you can't. Or you can't let that. And that's one question I'll probably ask you in the podcast. It's like you're an athlete, and you probably talk to a lot of athletes. Like, I play hockey. Like, if I elbow someone, they want to beat me up. How come they're not beating up anybody, a male going to a woman's bathroom, especially if it's daughter's bathroom? Why don't they stick up for that?
Because they go crazy because you get mad at them. It's flipped. It's completely flipped.
Oh,
so now, like, if you say anything, they're like, how dare you? Like, what is wrong with you? The equal rights. I mean, it's gone off the track. Okay.
Yeah, but these guys are like hockey players. I mean, they're tough guys. I mean, they're not.
I don't know. I wish I could. I wish I could understand this. This is the problem, is that nobody's allowed to have the conversation. So this, I would beg. Really? Let's try to put that on Nino's Corner.tv, because I don't even want to talk about it. Folks, you know where to go to find me. I just stay safe on this, and people know. Really? He's selling out. I'm not selling out. I just know to keep the town square.
Yeah, because of the thing.
Yeah, and then go to my other channels where we could talk shit all day long on there.
Okay, maybe we can cut that out then.
Yeah, it'll be edited.
Okay, I'll tell you, it's going to change if they ever put someone in WNBA, but they don't want to mess with the black community. If you put someone in NBA, LeBron's going to come out. He's going to switch.
Dude, some of them are questionable anyway, bro. If you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a great basketball player. I'll probably beat everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I love basketball.
I remember there was
Maybe
a
I'll play
time when
basketball.
there was a time in high school where one of the collegiate players, she was like one of the best at UTEP. I can't remember her name, but I was in high school and she said, you know, I'll take you on, I'll play you, this and that. And I beat the crap out of her and I wasn't even that good at basketball and it just destroyed her. And it was just, and I was like, man, I don't even play basketball, but why, you know, I'm still a guy and I'm still strong. You know what I mean? Like, but I'll never understand it. There's a girl right now, there's a woman champion boxer trying to fight champion men boxers. And it's got to stop. We got to stop pretending. You know, we got to stop this, you know.
I look up to the sports guys though. Obviously, you know,
but everyone's scared, bro. Everyone's scared. Nobody wants to say anything.
I just can't fathom them being scared. I'm scared. I'm Jewish, Brooklyn. There's like Italian guys are tough, Irish guys are tough. You know, I'm Israeli, so I'm a little more alpha male than most American Jews because alpha males are from Israelis are a little more alpha because you know we're in the army. But it's kind of I know they're alpha males. They're 100% alpha, and they should just stand up.
You don't see it. I know, but you're seeing more UFC fighters and fighters come out and say, hey man, this is wrong, you know, Epstein Island, that kind of stuff. You know, you're seeing that stuff, but really picking up the torch and lighting the way, it's just a few of us, man. And it's got to grow because people are scared.
But I think if you do a survey with 95% of the people, they're going to say, yeah, of course, it's ridiculous. It's that 5% that's using the internet to make themselves look bigger.
Right.
And the institutions are controlling what's are being said. And that's bad because that's what's going on in China. 99% of the people don't like what the government's doing, but that 1% holding the institutions.
Right.
So obviously with Twitter, that's turned around, but
and creating that illusion that they control it all. That's that illusion that people are scared of. Is like, ooh, it's everyone thinks like this. And if I say this, I'll get a brick through my window or someone will beat up my sister or whatever, man. It's gotten out of hand. And the only way we got to start pulling this back.
Well, that's why I'm hoping you and me can start the torch with at least with getting the comedians to follow us. Because comedians, you guys can't say anything anymore. You're walking on eggshells. And Jews in Hollywood, we're becoming our own worst enemy.
I saw this at the comedy show just recently. I saw it. I saw how they were all holding back. Every single one of them holding back, being politically correct. And guess what? People don't want to fucking see that.
Right. But the thing is, if you want to say it within
comedy,
comedy,
how about we could just say whatever the hell we want to, and we shouldn't have any restrictions. That's the way it should be.
All right, I'm sponsoring you on my next.
Whatever happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Remember that. Remember when you were a kid and you learned that? What has happened, man? I mean, dude,
you're a great salesman. I should hire. You know what? When I retire, I'm putting you. I'll make you my. What is it? I'll make you the protege, and then I'll be a fighter. I'll be your protege. We'll do a swap. That works. Do like a reality show.
So Vince, man, this has been a pleasure. What's the name of your podcast?
Oh, the SHAMWOW Guy Show. Just the SHAMWOW Guy Show. It's on YouTube. The SHAMWOW Guy on YouTube. Like I said, we have a couple 100,000 followers, so hopefully we'll catch up to you. You're doing so well, and
I'm gonna definitely go on your show.
You can come on our show.
Absolutely. Yeah. All I gotta say, if I can give you any advice on that, is be careful. Follow the community guidelines, dude. Like, don't mess that up, and have other channels. Have a backup Rumble, and have a like I have a Nino's Corner.tv. So I have different. I know where to space my stuff. I know where to put my stuff. So my YouTube is. I put the stuff that's G-rated, PG-13 on YouTube. Everything else goes rated R, XXX, whatever. Nino's Corner.tv and Rumble.
Right,
so
but I'm hoping
where
the
to put
YouTube
everything.
Guys are snapping out of it. They gotta. You guys have control of that institution. You guys are going to be better. Look in the mirror, self-reflect. You got to have both sides. I'm Jewish. I don't even talk. Let him say his piece.
Everyone should be breaking bread right now.
Huh?
Everyone should be breaking bread right now. We should be having conversations with everyone.
YouTube, I'm praying for you. You know, you guys are going to do good. You guys are doing. I think they're doing a lot better. They're letting things out more. I know the wokes are just the hecklers. They're like 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 1,000. Not even.
I say 1 out of every.
They look big. Don't be scared. YouTube, do the right thing because we're all meeting at the end. We're all meeting at the end, and we won't have a body. We'll see each other. We'll see exactly what you did. You got to do the right thing because, you know, it's going to be worse later in the spiritual world, better in the real world. I don't know.
No, that's true, man. So, Vince, Thank you for coming on,
Yeah, no
man.
worries.
Like
No,
seriously,
thank
bro,
you.
you're more than welcome to come on anytime, folks. Go to
Okay.
get the 𝗀𝗵𝗂. Now he's doing the 𝗀𝗵𝗂, the
Yeah.
SHAMWOW guy show. October 5th is when you're starting.
Yeah, and I might even put the Underground Comedy movie that got banned in Hollywood. I might even put that on my YouTube channel, the ShamWow guy on YouTube.
So what was it? The inappropriate, the underground comedy, and the other one was what?
Yeah, well, the other one was the public access show. This was created the Underground Comedy movie that I was in. And then I just did, I had a lot of money, so I just made this movie with a bunch of stars, paid him a lot of money. But that was really all, Joe Rogan loves this movie. From what
Inappropriate comedy, unrated,
Yeah,
inappropriate. And you
Obama
can
was
get
in
that
it.
on Amazon. Like I can order it.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, but I get the rights back. There's 𝗫𝗄𝗃 teaching Anna Akana how to drive in the Asian driving school. And she slaps him and beats him up.
I gotta watch that,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, it's
Inappropriate
fun.
comedy show.
Yes, and yeah, so it was fun to write. And on Inappropriate, I worked with Ari. He did a lot of ad libbing, but I put him in that position to ad lib, and he hit a home run. He hit it out of the park.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're welcome on my show anytime, man. If
Oh,
you want
all
to
right.
talk politics, I'll put you on Nino'sCorner.tv and we'll do that.
Oh, all right. That's for your
All right.
website. Yeah, we can hit that
Yeah.
hard. And also, yeah, and thanks for all that info. That really helps.
Yeah,
Appreciate
and dude, I want to see you come back and with flying colors, man. I want to see you just be
Yeah.
awesome.
And then don't forget, at the end, we're all going to be, truth always prevails. It might just have a few dips, but I think the trend's going to come. It was 30 years of stealth, and now it's just all out in the open. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but it's all going up with help from you, because you're ahead of your time in what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I'm hopefully I can add and emulate what you're doing.
You're doing it,
And
Vince.
that's
You're
why
already
I'm
doing
creating
it,
a
man.
podcast.
And bro, listen,
be
we
honest.
all make mistakes. I made thousands,
Yeah.
thousands.
I told
Okay.
you,
And
you're gonna
let
fall
me tell
asleep
you,
on my story.
it was always alcohol induced.
Maybe we'll make a movie. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to get an investor. Hey, LeBron James lives down the street from me. I might knock on his door and say, we gotta make a
tell him-
movie about you.
Tell him I said hi because I knocked out his first cousin.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm
Actually,
not
but
gonna.
he was tough. He was actually really
That's how I
tough.
started. I was knocking on doors selling solar system. That's another time I'll talk. Yeah, sorry, we're getting too heavy. I know you want.
No, it's good, man. That's good. This is awesome, man. So Vince, thank you for coming on, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was my first time doing a podcast. I think I did okay. I thought I'd screw up a little. I know I screwed up a little bit, but
No, you did not. You did
Yeah.
not. You did great,
All right.
bro. You did
All right,
great.
well,
God
thank you.
bless you. All right. Let's keep in
All right.
touch.
God bless. Thank
Take
you.
it easy.